What is up, guys? Private Eye Russ here. Welcome to another episode of the Private Eye Russ Show. I am your host, owner, operator, full-service private investigation and consulting firm. Criminal defense investigations, litigation support investigations, corporate investigations, personal one-on-one, personal development coaching. Links will be in the description below. Hit like, subscribe, share while you're here. It doesn't cost you anything. It makes a big deal to us. We're at right around 1,300 subscribers. Let's try to get to 1,500, then on maybe to 2,000, and maybe on from there. Who knows? And let's keep trying to grow. All right, so and also shout out and thank you to everybody who has liked and subscribed. Thank you so much to every single one of you. It's very humbling, and I appreciate your faith in me and the time you spend on these videos, and I will promise not to disappoint you guys, to let you guys down. I'm not going to waste your time. Okay, and please get in the comment section. Comment, man, comment. Let's try to defeat the YouTube, the famous or infamous YouTube algorithm. All right, so something I posted on X was a question. I haven't answered it yet. I'm going to answer this question via a YouTube video. I might share the video as well on X if I can download it on there. X is kind of finicky when it comes to uploading videos on there. At least for me, it has been. So, all right, here's the question. What do women look for when they order background investigations on men? Yes, it's not just men who order background investigations. Women do as well, too. A lot of times they use the really inexpensive ones online, and those are pretty much the same thing people use when they're trying to vet people to rent apartments and things like that. It's a little more than a credit check and a state by state or a local state criminal background check, right? It's a criminal history check. So when they want more information, they come to your boy. Excuse me, sorry about that. Banging the camera there. They come to your boy, Private Eye Russ, say, hey, Russ, I need some background information, just like men do. Men do the same thing. More and more men are ordering background investigations on the women that they're going to align themselves with, whether it's financially, whether you get the marriage license or the contract with the state, which I don't necessarily recommend. It's really not a good deal in many ways, but some guys are going to. So I give you the information you need, just like women, and that way you can make an informed decision, which is all any of us should ever hope for. All right, so let's go ahead and go down the list. I'm going to go in descending order, or ascending order, I guess, from 5 to number 1, okay? The first thing they want to know about is your criminal history. Are you a psychopath? Have you injured anyone? And they're looking for violence. They're also looking for things like theft or fraud or, things of that nature. All right, so that's one of the big things, and I understand why. Why? Because, do you want to marry somebody who's a criminal? Some people don't have a problem. Some women seem to be drawn to criminals and guys that are violent. Others want someone who they're going to feel relatively safe with. So that's number 5. Number 4. Business/work history. Where have you worked over the years? Have you started a business? How did that business do? How many other businesses have you owned in the past? On one particular instance, a woman walked away from the guy because he was part of his work history was he managed a gentleman's club where there were exotic dancers. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know if I can say that on here on YouTube without getting in trouble, but you know what I mean. So she objected to that, and she was like, oh, he did that. His work history besides that was actually kind of weird. Before that, the guy was a cop. So he went from being a cop to managing a gentleman's club. Then after that, he was a member of an MC, a motorcycle club. I don't remember whether or not it was a 1% club. I don't think it was. And so she was like, the motorcycle club thing didn't bother her. The strip club, or the gentleman's club thing, that's what bothered her. All right, so number 4 is work history / business history. Okay. Number three, previous marriage history. Has he been married before? Apparently there's a thing where guys are not telling people, or women are not telling people that they've been married previously. I don't know how you can hope to get away with that. If you do get married again, that has to be disclosed. But people are making things like that up. Another thing, in passing, I guess there's a lot of dudes out there that lie on their height. Look, guys, Just like we don't like women that show up and they look, markedly different from, the pictures we may have seen on apps. I don't use apps anymore. They're incredibly inefficient. I like meeting women in the wild, as it were. I meet women when I'm going about my day, Publix, Walgreens, not Walmart. I'm not meeting any women at Walmart. I want nothing to do with the Walmart women crowd. Shout out to you that are. Shout out to the dudes that do, but that's not my crowd. Publix, Whole Foods, things of that nature. Wherever I go, I meet women face to face. I prefer that. That way, there's no lying, there's no deception with these doctored photos that are perfectly manicured, professional photographers and all the rest of these things. And so that's just my thing. So guys, don't lie about your height. If you're going to meet this person, they're going to they're going to be able to tell that if you say that you're 6 foot tall and you're actually like 5'2", they're going to be able to tell the difference, guys. And there are no. Excuse me. Sorry, been a long day. There are no platform shoes that's going to hide those disparities in height. So just be honest. Okay, so besides after previous marriage history, here we get down to the nitty gritty. The final two, number 2, financial history. They want to know if you've had any bankruptcies. Obviously, I'm not going to be looking into people's bank accounts. There are some things I can look into, but they're also looking for an asset search. Do you own real estate? And so the guys that think that they're going to get divorced and then try to hide assets post-marriage or post-divorce, you're not hiding any assets, man. Okay, so let me go ahead and give you guys a little clue. You want to protect your assets before you ever get married. Legally and lawfully protect your assets from divorce settlements, from lawsuits, whatever it might be, from civil judgments, whatever that might be. You can legally and lawfully protect your assets. You have to go offshore. You have to use different jurisdictions and different business mechanisms to do so, but they are legal and lawful. Trying to hide assets after you're already married and when you're getting a divorce is incredibly difficult unless you've got a stash of gold somewhere. People like me are going to fight it. That's not something I do regularly. I can do it, but there are people that's all they do is asset search. There are some PI firms that all they do are asset searches, and they get hired by really high-powered attorneys to find people's stuff. So whatever you think you're hiding, you're not going to hide it afterwards. Learn how to protect your assets. I've seen people do it. I know some of the mechanisms. However, I am not a wealth protection or wealth management professional, so I'm not going to come on here on YouTube and act like I am. There are a lot of frauds out there. I am who I say I am, guys. And let me just give a quick note about social media and that sort of thing. You talk to anybody who I've coached, and everybody, any client I've met face to face, here's what they say. They say, "Man, you're exactly the same as you portray yourself to be on videos or anything else." And yeah, this is who I am, guys. I know a lot of guys out there will fake things. A lot of women out there will fake things. And, that's kind of a whole industry, the lifestyle people that will show you a lifestyle. I think it gives people a false impression and gives people false hope in certain instances. And I'm not here to lie to you guys. So you're gonna get the truth from me. I may be wrong at some point, but I will never intentionally lie, and I'll try to always be correct. When I say things, if I don't know something, I'm not gonna make anything up. Now, if I have wrong information or bad information, different story altogether. If I do get things wrong, I'll say, "Hey, look, you know what? I made a mistake," and I'll apologize and say, and own my mistake. But I'm not going to lie to you guys. Okay, so financial history, they're going to find that out. That's the number 2 searched history. Now, before I unveil the number 1, history, put in the comment section, if you guys are watching this, before you pause the video, put in the comment section what you think the number 1 searched or researched issue that women have that they want to find out about men are before they get married. I'll wait. Okay, the number 1 thing that women are looking out for above money, believe it or not, and assets, believe it or not. Which when I was compiling this data just from some of the requests I've gotten, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff. I might make another list, another top five, but those will be 6 to 10, obviously. Same-sex history. Same-sex history. They want to know if you have been in same-sex relationships. Apparently, well, not even apparently. Apparently, there are guys out there, and I've worked on cases on infidelity cases where it turns out that married men married to women, were also engaging in fun bedroom activity with. Sorry. We're engaging in, I apologize, we're engaging in fun bedroom activity with other men. Now, I'm not judging anybody one way or the other. What you do, and who you do it with, that's your business. However, I do think it's unfair if you're doing so to your spouse. You shouldn't be cheating on them anyway, whoever is with. But this is something I've researched, cases where men have been cheating on their wives, not with women, but with other men. And from the female's perspective, I had one woman said, I almost wish it was another woman. She said, because how can I compete with another guy? And I didn't have any answers for her. So on the flip side, I've actually worked on cases where LGBTQ plus couples have hired me to find out if their significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband was messing around with somebody else. And on 2 occasions, same-sex couples, 2 men, 2 men were cheating on their significant others, their boyfriends or husbands, with women, with which I was, I've seen so many of the other side, men cheating on their wives with other men, but I haven't seen dudes cheating on other dudes with women. That for me, okay, maybe I'm just ignorant to what goes on in those relationships. I'm a heterosexual dude, so maybe I just forgive my ignorance. And I've also had cases. I actually talked about one on video where a same-sex couple, 2 women, and we did some surveillance on one of them. It was the lipstick one, and she was cheating on her significant other, her wife, with a dude. and so I've seen that, but the dudes cheating on other dudes with women, that was unusual. That was not unusual in the way that people are doing, because people like what they want, they want what they want, but unusual in that I hadn't seen that before. And if someone had told me that, I'd be like, nah, come on. Just because when I lived in LA, I knew plenty of gay people, and they were some of them were hardcore militant. A lot of them were hardcore militant. You're either with us or you're against us type, militant gay people. My ex-brother-in-law is one of those. He's very, very hardcore. About you're either with us or against us. And I've heard some tales from him about dudes, cheating and things of that nature. And so who knows? Maybe that's an untapped market for me. So look, stuff like this happens, but same-sex history. Here's the truth. Sometimes it can bring about it, maybe a certain level of risk, and that's just what women have expressed to me. They want to make sure they know that the guy they're dealing with is somebody that is not going to cheat on them with someone of the other, the same sex, just because. It's not apples, it's apples and oranges, So, and again, I'm not going to pretend that I understand the dynamics of same-sex relationships. I don't. People hire me to do a job. I do the job to the best of my ability and try to help them the best I can. Anyway, so do me a favor. Get in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think of this list. You guys want to see a part 2 of this list? Let me know. I may actually try to expand on some of these. Just because, I think I've expanded and covered these enough, But the same-sex thing, it's I think from a lot of women's standpoint, they think like one in particular was like, how do I compete with that? And that makes a lot of sense. Just because the plumbing is different and all the rest of that stuff. I won't. Maybe I'm not going to expand on it. maybe we're going to refrain from expanding on that because it's just not my a subject that I'm very strong in. I just know what people ask me for, and so we got same-sex history, financial history, asset search, previous marriage history, work, business history, criminal history. I would think that criminal history would have been on number one, but the same-sex history was up there. Now, as far as how the races break down, there was no bias one way or the other. It seemed pretty spread out across the board. And so look, there are some black men that are on what they call the DL. There are white guys that are on the DL. There are Latino guys on the DL. There are Asian guys on the DL. This is just how it goes. There are white guys on the DL. This is just how things go in general. So, this is how things work out, guys. So women are doing background checks. Men are starting to catch on, not as much as women do, but men are starting to catch on. I think a lot of guys just kind of like, all right, you know what? I like the way she looks. She gives me a cool vibe. That's good enough for me. Anyway, please, while you're here, before you go, please hit that like button, subscribe, share. Join the Discord server. I started posting yesterday. We'll keep posting regularly on the Discord server. If you want to discuss something or if you have a video request, put it in there. That's probably the best place to put it. Get in the comment section. I do try to get to every comment. I can't say that I catch every single one just because my schedule has been absolutely crazy. Still on this go executive protection schedule where we're literally going from one job to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And so with all the political violence and social issue violence, things have increased exponentially. And so I've been working a ton. So, like I thought I had a few days off to run some other stuff and maybe just take a couple of days. Nope. I'm going to be back with another detail tomorrow morning. So anyway, it's your boy Private Eye Russ. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.